Welcome back everybody to PoolieMagTV, the raw, unedited, unscripted NUFC fan channel where everyone's got an opinion and nobody's opinion's wrong. So it might be a couple of days after the fact, but it takes me a while to calm down. I've also got a full-time job on YouTube. It's not my full-time employment, so you will get videos sometimes out of sync with other channels. But anyway, this is my match reaction to the Barcelona game. So we're just going to get stuck right into it. I'm not going to do no shilling for my channel. If you like what you see, just subscribe. If you don't, then don't. I'm not going to go on too much. So, getting down to brass tacks, getting down to the match itself. Well, I was very, very shocked. I was texting me pal, and he mentioned that Woltemade wasn't starting. I was thinking, oh, what's going on here? Why isn't Woltemade starting? Now, I understand we've got Bournemouth. He's just joined the club. He went off with cramp, but surely we must have known from previous encounters with Liverpool and Aston Villa that Anthony Gordon, as much as he huffs and puffs, is not a number 9. So, setting the scene for the match, I thought, is it going to go the same way Villa did? Is it going to go the same way Liverpool did? And it did. First 20 minutes, in at them, harassing them, harrying them, getting tore into them. Joe Linton, Sandro Tonali, Bruno, Elanga, fucking electric. Wow, what a performance from Anthony Elanga. I'm going to get into that later on in the video. Elanga whips in an early ball for Gordon, and he's what's he doing? He just kicks it over, and then he whips in another. He just kicks over the ball, doesn't he? Like if Woltemade's there or Wiss is there, that's 1-0 for me. And Harvey Barnes is a better finisher than Anthony Gordon all day long, but Harvey Barnes isn't in the right frame of mind, and he gets a ball in, and that should be 1-0, and I'm sat here thinking, oh no, it's the same old story. Proud of how we played, not pessimistic at this point, and I wasn't really pessimistic throughout the full match, but I just seen it happening again. I seen it happened at Villa. We press, we get the ball, we whip a good ball in, can't score. Liverpool, we press, get a good ball in, we can't score. And against top teams, Villa ain't a top team. They're a good team, but they ain't a top team. Against top teams like Liverpool and top teams like Barcelona, you'll get picked off. And we played really well first half. I was really proud of us. That Barcelona didn't seem to know how to handle us, but sort of also a little bit like the rope-a-dope. Let's see what you've got, Newcastle. Let's see what you've got. And we're going to take your best, and then in the second half we're going to come out and thingy. I thought Elanga was electric all first half. I really did. I thought the midfield battled well. Joe Linton got a stupid yellow card, and that really disrupted his game because he's a battering ram. He wasn't composed on the ball enough for me. There was plenty of chances where he could have through balled it and things like that, and I just didn't think he was composed enough to do that. At the other end though, Kieran Trippier rolled back the ears in that first half against Marcus Rashford, and that had been his back pocket. So the first half, it's 0-0, and I'm thinking, okay, right, we played well, we got in at them, we've stuck in, we got in at them, but at times when that level went from there to even there, Barca, even in the first half, without creating too much, we're passing it around us. And you're seeing from Pedri, and what a Pedri and De Jong, wow. People scoffed at Frankie De Jong, and when he went to Barcelona, it took him a couple of seasons to get into it. And I know Manchester United want him, and well, Manchester United would have ruined him. He was at the right team with the right manager because he looks a star, and Pedri, wow. So you can see the signs coming if we just dropped off. It's hard to keep it up for the full 90 minutes, and I'm proud of how we played in that first half. Second half comes in the first 5-10 minutes, and we're back at it. Boom, we're back at it, and it looks like, right, okay, well we up for this second half and all. Tino's struggling a little bit on the left with Rafinha, but not too much. He struggled a little bit more going forward. I thought our passing as a whole was really poor. I really did. I thought Sandro's passing was poor. I thought Bruno was trying to pirouette, which he can get away with against Wolves and things like that in the Premier League, but when it started when you're facing Barcelona and these top teams, you get found out sometimes, and he was losing the ball a little bit. Elanga still looked dangerous, with another good ball in, and nobody was there, and you're thinking, where's the striker at? Why isn't Woltemade coming on? And then Fabian Schär takes a boom straight to the keeper, and At that moment, you're thinking, take them off. Take them off, reshuffle the defence and take them off. And he doesn't, and he stays on. And then the player, nice little move, Rafinha whips one, I think it's either Koundé, Koundé, sorry. Koundé whips one in, boom, bullet header from Marcus Rashford. And then you think, all right, okay, great goal, but here we go. The closing down wasn't great on the first Barcelona goal. But we still had we still had a bit of an outlet. We still had a bit of an outlet. We still had Elanga. And then you're thinking, well, right, okay. Elanga goes off. Joe Willock comes on. Malik Chow comes on. For Sven Botman comes on a little bit later. And you're thinking, Woltemade comes on. And I'm sat there thinking, Jacob Murphy comes on to replace Elanga. And I'm sat there thinking, why the hell is Elanga off the pitch? Why is he off the pitch? Why is Elanga off the pitch? I just did not get that decision whatsoever. Jacob Murphy, yeah, I can understand. He whipped one in for Woltemade and it looked like they had a little bit of an understanding type of thing. But you can't take a player off who's your main direct threat. And Jacob Murphy, he huffed and he puffed, and you know, it just didn't seem to work. It just didn't work for me. We turned into a back five. Murphy right wing back, Tino left wing back. Lewis Hall and Lewis Miley must be sat there thinking, why can't I get a kick here? Lewis Miley's clearly a better player than Joe Willock these days. And Lewis Hall is a quality left back. Tino was struggling at left back. And Kieran Trippier was struggling at right back. So why didn't you put Tino back to right back and let Lewis Hall? There was a few decisions in this game where I thought, you've tried to play it a bit too safe for you, Eddie, and it's backfiring. Now, Malik Chow come on. Malik Chow, I thought, played really well. I thought he was the standout of all the substitutes. Woltemade had a few nice touches but was isolated out the game. Woltemade is going to be one of them that needs to be a run of games, and he needs to get used to the intensity of the Champions League. He's never played in Europe before, never mind the Champions League, and he clearly hasn't played in the Premier League. We've took a big risk on Woltemade. His highlight reel looks great, but we took a big risk on him. But the little bits I've seen of him, obviously he scored against Wolves, the little bits I've seen of him, he looks really good. So I thought he played well. But Malik Chow and Botman, when they come on, they look really assured. But before Botman comes on, Marcus Rashford, boom, 2-0. Wow, what a... Dan Burn clears it, should have cleared it a little bit further. But Marcus Rashford, what, take a bow, you know, that's what, take a bow, son, as Andy Gray would say, you know. You know, sorry about that. But yeah, take a bow at Marcus Rashford. It was a great goal. No keeper in the world is saving that one. I'm sorry, folks, but they're not. They're just not. And at this, you think, it's game over, and then we got really ragged. Really ragged. Our passing was terrible. And I was watching the game with my mother, and I was saying, we've shown ourselves up a little bit here. First half, we were really in at them, but the second half, we couldn't string up two passes together. Chow was turning really well, and Chow was the highlight of that second half for me. I thought Chow was really good. And then we just out the blue a little bit. The best move that we've done all second half leads to our goal. And we sat there, and you sat there thinking, come on. You know, and we just don't get it. Barcelona just keep the ball. They just know how to keep the ball. Like I say, Pedri was, and De Jong were absolutely phenomenal. They just ran rings around our players. Tonali, you know, a game where you want him to show that I'm on their level, he didn't. Bruno, a game where you show, look, I'm on your level, nowhere near. And there's levels. Tonali and Bruno, I think Tonali's a lot better than Bruno. Bruno's a very good player. I think Tonali's a top class player. Frenkie de Jong and Pedri are world class players. There's the difference. You've got a very good and top class midfield with Newcastle, and then you've got a world class. And you've seen them levels. Sandro Tonali, we say he's world class. Nah, not after that game. You know, we've seen what world-class midfield looks like with Pedri and De Jong. And Sandro Tonali, as much as I love him and as much as he's the best midfielder I've seen in a black and white shirt, let's not get carried away and think he's on their level, because he's not. He's not. And that's the levels. And to get beat 2-1 off Barcelona and to get tore into them and get stuck into them isn't out to be ashamed of. Nothing to be ashamed of. I thought man of the match for us was Elanga. I thought Trippier played well in the first half. And I thought Malik Chow deserves, to start against Bournemouth, because he'd come on and he really looked composed, and so did Botman. So there was a lot of positives. Woltemade's silky little touches and things like that. A lot of positives to take from it. But Eddie Howe and the team will hopefully learn from their mistakes against Benfica at home in our next home game in the Champions League. We've got to play a little bit different away from home in the Champions League, but go for it a little bit at home. Go for it. Put your strikers on. I know he's only got Woltemade, so I know he was trying to ease him in, but play him for 55, 60 minutes, then change it. But in that 55, 60 minutes, we could have been 2-0 up. Because I honestly believe if Woltemade was on the end of them 2 early crosses from Elanga, we would have been 2-0 up. But on the whole, disappointing, but not fuming performance. We tried our hearts out, and we got beat by the better team, and we move on to Bournemouth. Anyway, if you want to hit like, hit subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on the Barcelona Newcastle game, and I'll be with you for a review of the Bournemouth game. I won't have time to do a preview, but I will have time to do a review, maybe on the Tuesday. I don't know when it comes out. I might be a little bit out of sync, but like I say, I do have a life and all. It's not my full-time job. I don't get paid to make 4 or 5 videos like some of the other channels do a day, by the way, not a week. So, yes, anyway, hit like, hit subscribe, comment down below, and as I always say, keep it black and white, keep it PoolieMagTV. Have a lovely weekend, and over and out, folks.